Hello? 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 Alright, time to game.
Hey Dant.
Oh. Who's there?
E.
Wow. I could just use L1 and R1.
Why is it saying it out loud?
That's the point. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Dude, my controller is so sweaty. If I could take an image of my controller, I would. Or at least to show all the freaking slime on it. All the sweat, all the tears, all the blood. Jesus Christ. There's hairs on it. Alright, what was I doing? Hello? What? You're... oh. Dang, dude. Hello? Is this better? I have to like stay quiet, guys. Hello? Is it better? Can y'all hear me?
That's better.
Ah, I see. Okay, let me turn it down again. Alright. So here we are gonna pick up on the tractor. I forgot that I have to power the tractor.
Why aren't you using your bad mic?
Cause it's laptop only. Like, if I use my bad mic, I would have to do some weird, like, what is it called? Goldberg machine. Like, I would have to somehow hook up my computer to my mic input. You know how strange that is? Although it could probably be done. Just take like a while to figure out. Was this always here? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Going into the macaroni mine.
Are there creepers in this game?
Yep. They're white and stationary. Yep, so, you know, I'm gonna follow my line of tethers so I don't die, you know? And then I'm gonna go to the red area, which is super deep, and it's not even that deep. Then I'm gonna slide down the ramp. I forgot which way it is. Is it this way? Nope. Okay, so gotta go back. Gotta climb to the other side.
You should do SMR.
Ah, screw you. I can't. I was freaking screaming earlier. I can't right now, because, you know, people are sleeping. And so am I. I feel like my eyes are closing slowly. You know, it's like a time limit. My awakeness free trial is about to expire. Alright, so we're gonna go back down into the hole. Gonna slide. Can I slide? Oh, don't die. Okay, gonna go down the right side. Gonna go back into another macaroni cave. Haven't found the cheese yet, so, you know, kind of unfortunate, I guess. I did find a marble, and then I lost another one, so there's that. What else is there? Let me out! Let me out! Alright. Got a whole bunch of organic material over here. Classic. No, it's a compound material. Got a tether that goes down into the red, down the right nostril, down the left nostril, then down the left one again. Oh, there's my beacon. Frickin' beacon, man. Gotta go down into the red zone. Gotta go down over here. Go down the right nostril. Into like the nasal cavity. Okay, and then continue on, into this hole that's red. Jump onto a mushroom. Go past the mushroom. Don't die off of the mushroom. Slowly I forgot the light. I'm gonna have to go back up. I mean, I'm kidding, I'm not gonna go back up, but I actually did forget the light. Which sucks, because I can't see anything. Okay, well, keep going down and down. Oh my god. Gotta go back. Down. Gotta keep going down. Whoops. Whoops. Oh my god.
Can you tell us a good night story?
A good night story? Anytime. So, I don't know if you know this, but, I used to, back in, what year was it? Back in, I want to say 2013, alright? Back in 2013, YouTube was still kind of, it wasn't super popular, but it was getting there. Okay? I remember I was in, I think, 3rd grade, maybe? And the reason why that's important is because that's basically the main premise of the story. I was in 3rd grade, and I was very, like, I was just very weird. I went into a new school, and I didn't know anybody, right? And, that's it. Like, that's basically the backstory you need to the actual story. The main story is that I'm in 3rd grade, and, like, I would still cry, like, every day, right? And I was crying every day, and I remember, while I was in 3rd grade, I remember I got so, like, dismotivated once, because our teacher was like, okay, we're gonna learn how to play the recorder. Because, of course, where I'm an American student, of course I gotta learn. And, I'm playing the recorder, and it's like the first day. And I'm like having fun, and it's great. Okay, second day, well, what happens? What happens on the second day? On the second day, my world felt like it got flipped upside down. Because we were playing the recorders, and I think the teacher or somebody asked me if I had liked to play the recorder, like if I enjoyed it, and I was like, yes, dude, I love it. But I accidentally, I actually did like it, but I accidentally said that I didn't like it. And I remember, either the next day or that day, I got sent out to the computer lab. Because the computer lab was basically just a really big hallway, with just computers in it. But this computer lab, a bit different because, the classrooms, well, I don't know if it's every computer lab is like this. The classrooms were, kind of right next to the computer lab. There's, a glass through so you could see it, right? And so I got sent out to the computer lab, and I don't know if I was crying. I think I was. And I was sad, dude. I couldn't play the recorders. I felt like I got punished for something I didn't do. But, I mean, it's been 8 years since then, and I think that the reason I was actually kicked out was because at the time, in my mind, I was like, dude, there's so much work in this class, I'm gonna take a break. And I didn't do my homework for 5 months, and I think that had to do with something with it. Yeah, that's it. That's good night.
That was a good story. Me and Alvaro enjoyed it.
Nice, dude. Glad to help. You wanna hear another one? I got a good one. I call it, the black nail biter. The black nail biter. Like the... Okay, wait. Let me rephrase that. Just the black nail, okay? The black nail, you know, that one's a good one. Every time there's a family reunion, I tell that one.
Tell us the black nail.
Oh man, okay. So the black nail started. Okay, I was in school. I think it might have been when I was in 9th or 10th grade, right? I was in school and my room was looking pretty good. I was chilling in my room and I was fine, alright? It was a good time, you know. But after doing my after going to school, doing my homework, maybe playing some games, I don't remember. I went to sleep, okay? And when I was sleeping, during that time, while I was sleeping, right, my bed has the tendency to, like, I have the mattress, which is as stiff as like a piece of wood, right? Which is ironic because the actual bed frame is made out of wood, but the mattress is hard as a rock, okay? And I was sleeping, right? But because the bed is really hard, and my mom was like, wow, you actually sleep on this? And I guess as like a present, as like a, I don't know, I don't even know when I got it, so definitely wasn't like my birthday or anything, but I got you know, those like memory foam mattresses. They're like thin ones to lay on top. And I was like, yo, this is nice, thank you. And so I put it on, right? This was like way earlier, but like to this day I still use it, but the issue is that it slides a bit because I sit on my bed a lot. Like the actual mattress has a tendency to slide around, right? And because it slides around, it's like I'm too lazy to push it back because I have to like move the entire thing. Like, you know, it's like moving a mattress, but like really thin, and it's made out of memory foam. And so I'm laying down, I'm sleeping, and it's starting to slip off the bed, and I'm like, oh my god, are you kidding me? But I was basically asleep, and I was like, nah, I'm too lazy to do it. And because I move around a lot when I go to sleep, okay? And I mean, like, I move a lot. I don't know why, but I've always done so. So, because I move around a lot, I kept on pushing the mattress more and more off the, like, bed frame. Or even just the other mattress. And it kept on going and going and going. And I was like, oh my god, I don't care. Like, I'm trying to go to sleep. And because I would fall asleep, and then wake up, and then fall asleep again, and then wake up. And then one, like, after that, I'm like there, and I'm laying down. And I can feel that I'm already, like, kind of slipping off the bed. And I'm like, and I'm just like, whatever. And I didn't even move back to the right, like, cause it falls off to the left. So I didn't move to the right that time. And I fell, and I was just about to go back to sleep, and I could feel the movement of falling. Alright? Luckily, I did land, right? I landed fine, just fine. The issue is that I landed on, like, all of the pressure of my entire body landed on the toenail of my big toe, and so it felt like it got crushed inwards. It felt like it got pushed into my actual, like, have you seen a nail without the toenail, or without the actual nail, like a finger without the nail? I have, that's another story, but I have not, but I think it's really red. It felt like whatever was there got crushed and just mushed into it, and it hurt. And it was like 3 in the morning, and I felt like absolutely screaming. I felt like screaming, right? And I really wanted to scream, but it hurt so bad, and I knew if I screamed, my like mom would like bust into my room. So I tried to muffle the screams while like screaming into my mattress. That was now like halfway onto the floor. And when I finally like kind of tried to stand up, it hurt like even more. And so after barely crawling into bed and like trying to make the blankets like kind of bandage around my like broken toenail foot, like I went to sleep. And then, but I had school the next day. I had school that day. So I woke up and I go take a shower, because I take a shower after I go to sleep, right? So I take a shower at like 6, and like it still hurts. Like it's like I can feel like my big toe like grew in size like 3 times. I felt like the Grinch. And I'm going to take a shower, and I have the tendency, like, how you, like the one Jackbox game where you look at the shower head or you don't, and I don't look at the shower head, and so I have it hit my back, right? And while I like look down, cause like I'm trying to see my foot, like what happened, and I look down and it is pitch black. It is black, like it is matte black, and I can see like grooves in it, like I can see like a bend in the nail, and that toenail didn't heal for like half a year. And the best part was that the toenail went from black to like really dark yellow to like kind of toenail color back to normal, and it took like half a year just to get it all back together. That's it. I still got more stories,
Wow.
It felt terrifying. It was horrible. No, like I'm serious. Like that felt Okay, let me think if I have another one. I mean, I have more stories, but let me tell you about the first time I played Minecraft. Okay, so the way I learned about Minecraft, I think, was through like Chimney Swift or something. No. The way I learned from Minecraft was from a speed build. I looked up Angry Birds on YouTube, and at the time, like, I barely used YouTube, and I was really into Angry Birds, and I looked it up, and I found this video. Like, okay, I'll talk about the actual video I would watch like 3 times a day some other time, but I watched this video that was what was it called? It was like speed building pixel art on Minecraft. It was super simplistic and it was super harmless, but that basically trickled down into me learning about Minecraft. Maybe a year, maybe 2 later, I'd be playing the game like super on and off. Like I'd play it like a lot. Even if like the game lagged on the computer I played it like a lot. And then I played it on console and stuff. But the first time I played it was probably on a... if you guys know, my laptop right now is somewhat new. Well, it's not super new, but it's like a couple years old, and it still lags a bit. The computer I was playing it on was probably made in the year 2000, and I was trying to play Minecraft. Okay, and the like up to date, like latest version, no texture pack, nothing like that. Like I was just trying to play vanilla Minecraft, and it still lagged, I think. I mean, like, you know, you grow up in the lag and you get used to it, but I mean, like, that was the first game I really tried to play. And I remember I was, what was I doing? I was trying to play the game, and I remember, like, it was my dad's laptop. He owned it, right? And I was, using it. He let me borrow it, and and, you know, he even, like, told me that, like, a lot of other games I would just find on YouTube, like, he didn't care about at all. But when I started talking about Minecraft, and, like, when he saw what it was like, he was like, oh yeah, it's interesting. So he finally let me play it, right? And it, not because it was, like, immature or anything, it was just that, like, you know, it was just interesting, you know, it actually seemed like something I should spend my time on. Well, I remember when my dad bought the game for me, right? And at the time, like, you know, the price for the game was like half of like what it is now. It was a really good deal. And during that time, I believe villagers still hadn't been able to trade. I think it was 1.2.5, I think. And during this time, like, I was playing it and it was great. Okay, I had like zero clue of what I was kind of doing, but I'd watched so many videos on like modded Minecraft that I like kind of knew. But the issue was that I was basically watching a lot of other people who knew how to play the game like perfectly, and I had zero clue. Okay, and they were using mods. So when push came to shove, my first Minecraft experience was basically for the first night. I was just fighting a spider and died over and over and over. The second night, I was just trying to, like, I built into like a tree to not die from the spider. The third night, I think I finally started mining. After like a couple hours, I had realized that, you know, like, I had a base and it was really big, but it was like a maze, because I just kept on digging into like right underneath the dirt level. And I think I slowly kind of got more of the pace, but then I realized I need a bed, because if I don't have a bed, I'm gonna keep on spawning outside. And if I spawn outside, then, you know, spiders will come here or whatever. So I was looking around for sheep for what seemed like forever, and I felt like I was going like miles away from my base, when in actuality it was just like maybe a couple chunks away, you know. But, you know, I felt like it was a long journey, because, you know, I was like homesick. Or I don't really know what homesick is. Homestuck. But I was basically just trying to find sheep. But because I was in a jungle, I was closed into a jungle, or maybe just like a really weird forest, really large forest. And I kept on like dying, and because again at the time I was super like I had some serious anger issues. Like, I'm talking serious anger issues. And I remember I fell into water. And I think this was during the time where if you played Minecraft, there was no tutorial, there's nothing there. It plopped you in a world and that's it. Like, you know, the classic press E and then you get that, like, the taking inventory achievement, right? I think that was the only thing I had to go off of, right? So I was just basically stuck in this pool of water, and I had no clue how to get out. And I mean, I had zero clue. Like, I felt like I was spamming every button, and I kept on trying to pause the game so I wouldn't die, because I saw that my health was going down. Like, I saw that like air was going down, and then my health, and I was like, oh my god, please, if I die, I'm gonna scream. Like, I will actually scream. No, actually, I'll cry, okay? And I did, because I was crying, dude, and my dad was trying to freaking calm me down. And I remember my dad was trying to, like, look it up, and I was like, nobody's gonna, like, ask how to swim. No, I think my dad was like, nobody's gonna ask how to swim, just, like, push a button or something. And I was so, like, I was crying. I was stuck in a pool of water, and I remember I was like, I think my dad finally, like, looked it up, or I looked it up, and it was like, press space. And I remember I was spamming the space bar as fast as I could, and I noticed that I was, like, jumping. I was, like, bobbing up and down, and I was like, it's kind of working, but I thought, like, I wasn't pressing it, like, fast. Oh, I forgot, I just freaking suffocated. And I don't think I was pressing it, like, fast enough. I think that's what I was thinking. And I was just, like, panicking. It was like I was seriously panicking. And excuse me, I was seriously panicking, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. And I finally drowned. And that was the point where I felt like I closed my eyes. I, like, finished crying for, like, 2 hours. And then, just, like, never played the game again. I'm kidding. I eventually played the game again, but it took me, like, a week to recover from that one. And it was, like, at the time, like, I had, like, iron, I think. Like, even then, like, it wasn't much. I had, like, an iron sword and iron pickaxe and stuff. And, I was just, like, I remember, like, it was seriously something I was crying about. Like, I think I've told, you guys, like, I have cried, and I'm serious, I have cried over spilled milk. Multiple times. Like, it's like, oh, you know, don't cry over spilled milk. No, like, I'm serious, I have definitely cried over spilled milk. Plural. Like, I have, like, yeah. And that's just, like, how I was, you know? And it took me a really long time to finally, like, understand and come to grips with the fact that I just cry a lot. To the point where, like, you could punch me, and that's the only reason I would cry. Or, like, something serious has to happen for me to cry. And it's really weird, because there are times where, like, I'm so stressed out, I want to cry, but nothing comes out. It's like dust. So yeah. I don't think I've ever felt as bad as that day. Like, that was seriously one of the, like, something that, like, it was completely kind of my fault. And I felt like there was, like, I just lost hope to such an extent that time. I think that is one of the only times I've cried about games for that reason. Out of just this desperation of, like, trying to get my items back, but not knowing how. Not even, like, it wasn't even like, it wasn't like the ocean where you sink to the bottom. It was like a, you know, those little, like, lakes that are, like, built inside the ground. You know, like, you just keep on mining, like, some dirt and you fall in. It was like that, like, it was a much. So yeah, that was my crying over water story. Any other ones? Other ones you guys want to hear? Because I have, like, millions of other ones. I'll talk about my Terraria armor situation next, if you guys want.
One time I got banned on Movie Star Planet for a week and I cried so hard.
I'm sorry. Oh, good night, dude. Dude, the freaking I had like, I
Also
think,
tell another story please.
okay, I'll do the Terraria armor. It's not as much of a story as more of an experience, because and I don't know why I said it like that. It's not more like a story, but it's more like an experience. Um, when I play Terraria, playing, I love Terraria. Terraria is one of my favorite games just because it's a game that I grew up with, and it was during that era where, like, you know, Tobuscus, the Yogscast, Vanos Gaming, like, it came out of that era for me. And I think just in general, like, it came out during that time. This game, the way I played it, what is probably one of the funniest, to me personally, just because I downloaded the demo for mobile. And looking back on it, Terraria Mobile is kind of like horrible and horrifying. Because if you've ever played any mobile game, you might just realize how much it just feels uncomfortable after a while. So I was playing the game, and I was enjoying it. I loved it. I loved it. The issue, a really quick, apparent issue, was that I was playing the demo, right? And in the demo, it felt like the only things you could do was, like, I don't know, make, like, it was the demo. Well, the demo had just like the tutorial, and it felt like that was it. But I felt like a, I don't even know, like, I felt so powerful because I had somehow been able to, like, play the game, using, I was able to play the game using, like, I could make a character in, like, a world in the demo, and that's what made me, like, really happy, because, like, I could basically use my tablet, which, again, at the time, like, wasn't the most reliable, like, tablet ever. Like, it was very cheap, but it worked, and it was, like, running Android, and I was playing Terraria a lot. But the issue is that I really struggled, and especially if you've played pre-hard mode Terraria, you probably know how, like, non-difficult it is, and I still, like, struggled a lot. And the reason I was constantly like, why was I struggling, until years later, and I mean years, like, okay, maybe not years, but like 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 later, I had finally played Terraria again. And this time, you know, I was really into it. Like, I was playing it, I was enjoying it. It was a good time. Oh, nice, a marble. And I really enjoyed it. I think a major issue, though, was that I actually learned how to play the game, and I instantly noticed how easier the game was. At least compared to, like, previously. Because the main fact was, like, not only was it, like, I think near Easter, because I could fight the Easter bunny boss. That was, like, you know, kind of like right before hard mode. I also was able to, like, get those like mobile exclusive items that did, like, nothing but were cosmetic, like the actual android, or like the, like, worm, or that, like, old granny from also Worms, I think. But what I realized, apart from that was different from the game, is that I was having maybe the, like, compared to when I originally played it, like, the easiest time. All because, and it was really simple, all because I didn't use armor. I never used armor when I first played the game, and things like fighting, like, the goblin army were, like, impossible to me, and I would die like 80 times. And if you know, Terraria's respawn isn't like Minecraft or, like, I don't know, Astroneer, I guess, where you just kind of like, oh, I died, let me click the respawn button. No, you had to wait like 20 seconds, and by the time like that happened, your NPCs would all like die, and you were still like at 2% completion of the goblin army. And also, you didn't know when it would end. I remember that too. Like, you would just have to like hope that you killed enough goblins, and then like it was just over. I had no armor, and especially later in the game, not having armor is a pretty big sin. Okay, like there's people who play the game only using a copper short sword, and I was on mobile without armor. Okay, like there was a pretty big gap in skill on that, and it felt horrible. Like I really enjoyed the game for some reason otherwise, but I just did not use armor, and I felt like that just was a trend for me. Like same with Minecraft, you know, after I drowned in that hole for like what seemed like ages, I also just like, it took me a while to start to use armor. And I think what game was it? I don't know, like it just took me a while to actually realize how to play the game like adequately. I guess bridging onto that, the first time I played another one of my favorite games, Don't Starve, it was, I had watched a video, and I'll show you guys the video like maybe one day eventually. The video is still probably one of my favorite videos of all time. It was this guy who's playing TF2. His name was Star, or Star, I guess, during those days. And if you don't know, Star would constantly play TF2, or at least somewhat constantly. He played it a lot, he was pretty good at it, and he still is very, very popular. Even though he hasn't made videos like adequate in the sense that, you know, like his old type of videos in years, he still has a lot more subscribers than people who made YouTube videos years after his disappearance, or I guess quote unquote disappearance. And Stir was he was a character in and of itself. Led me to another one of my favorite creators, whatever. I have a lot of favorites if you haven't noticed, I think. And what I really liked about the video was that it was just like a gameplay video, but it had like editing kind of to it. It was simple in premise. It was just, he would go around as one character and use one item, the Hambat. The Hambat it's a reskin. There's literally no special properties. It jiggles a little bit. It's a piece of ham. That's it. But the reason why it was linked to Don't Starve is because that is a Don't Starve item. And it was a cross promotion, you know, like, oh, in Don't Starve, you get the Hambat. No, in TF2 you get the Hambat. And I think Don't Starve you were supposed to get the Pyro, but I think they cut that in development, and it was just kind of like a beta testing tool. Kind of going back on track. It was a very simple video. And that video got me into Don't Starve. Cause like, it was like, wow, like that item is very, I guess, funny. Like, I should play the game. And if you've ever played Don't Starve, or at least played Don't Starve for long enough, you might notice that it's very much about just adaptation, and especially getting really into it, you have to learn a lot of mechanics and a lot of like game engine wise. And I was like 10, and I didn't even know like Gamepedia existed. I had no clue what I was getting myself into. So for the first like maybe day or so, I'd started the game, and I was like, nice. Again, this was on like my dad's computer. Luckily, this one was slightly better. Now this computer was it was better. It ran much better, and I enjoyed it. The issue was that I died on like the second night every time. I knew that you had to have light. I knew that you were trying to not to starve, but that was it. I was going into the game blindfolded, and but I still played it frequently, because as much as I hated dying over and over again, what I really, really enjoyed, for some, I don't even know why. Well, I do know why. The reason why I enjoyed the game so much was not actually the game, but rather the like weird, wacky mods that people kept on making. Like, if you've ever seen the mods for Don't Starve, you might know what I'm talking about. But Don't Starve has some weird mods to it. Some are just like used for like, oh, have fun, here's some items. And others are like, like there's no rhyme or reason to it. And I would download heaps, and I mean heaps, of all of these mods. And it's kind of the same reason why I play Gmod nowadays. Like, I play both of these games alone for hours and hours at a time, because it's so weirdly enjoyable. Oh my Christ! I'm sorry, like, if you could hear that, hold up, I gotta take a break from that. My leg snapped, okay? My hip bone just cracked. Okay, anyways, for Gmod and Don't Starve, it was basically, I'd play the game for hours with mods, not even like doing anything from the base game. Like, forget about it. In like a month or so, add way more mods and play it again. And it was a cycle I would do consistently, and it was great, okay? Like, it was phenomenal. So yeah, that's it. Like, that kind of story, I guess, kind of went to the other one, but yeah. I don't know if I have more stories, but I think it's more just like me rambling. If you guys want to hear more. So yeah. Man, that really took
To
off.
add to the Terraria story, when I was little I played Pop to Pika, but I didn't know how to read good, so I would just walk around and do not. Tell another story.
Wait, what? When I was Pop Trop, I never played. Oh, let me. Okay. You remember? I think it was on the Discord server when I mentioned that I once got yelled at for the banana car. Okay, I was in 5th grade. I remember not as vividly, but I remember I was in 5th grade. And again, during 5th grade, I didn't do my homework, and like, I got pretty disciplined, for it. But I very vividly remember that one day, I think before I stopped doing my homework, I was with a group of my friends, right? And, well, I was in a kind of very small group. It was like 3 of us. I was, of course, the same person I was now, just with the anger issues. And I think, like, our tables got rearranged, so I was sitting down next to one of my friends. He's very chill. I was trying to say cool and chill. Kill. Very chill. I guess that works. Chill. He was very chill, and I was, what was I doing? Oh, we were sitting down, and we were about to start. We were doing an assignment. We were all, like, kind of quiet, just talking a bit, doing a group project. And at the time, this was the time when Chromebooks were just starting to be added into, you know, like the mainstream classrooms. And I remember our class was one of the first ones to, you know, try it out, see what it's like. So we're there, and I think that's pretty important because of, you know, what came with that is that our classrooms were heavily like surveillance, like the teacher could see what we were on basically at all times. And I think we were talking about cars or something, and I think one of my friends looked up the dreaded banana car. And the banana car was it's not harmful at all. It's a car that looks like a banana. It's not like colored like a banana. It literally like is a banana with wheels, and it's very big, and it's even like kind of green to like yellow. And I remember I looked it up, or like one of my friends looked it up, and I think then I looked it up, and we were laughing about it. We weren't like even laughing too hard about it, but we were definitely, it was noticeable. And then the teacher looks at my screen, and I think at the time she was doing those like reading tests. I don't know if you guys ever had to do those. We had a reading test where you were you were basically put in like in a corner of the room, or just in a different room entirely. Like maybe the computer lab, and you were told, okay, you're gonna read this as basically to your pace. And I think it was that she was doing that, or she was grading them or something like that. And you know, she probably heard us laughing, and she called me over. She saw what I was doing, and she called me over. And I was, again, I was probably 10 around the time, I think. Because this was what, like 6 years ago? 5, 6? No. More? I think, I don't know. Depends. And I was, called over, and she was like, "What's so funny, huh?" Like, you know, or I don't really even remember what she said. Long story short, I remember getting yelled at, and although I don't remember crying per se, I definitely felt like sad for like the rest of the day. It felt, and it was just this like weird feeling, because like it just felt so like awkward and horrible, and like it was something else. It was like in same with the second grade. In second grade, there were, I think, this girl and this guy we were all laughing. It was like 3 of us laughing. And I remember I was laughing the hardest, because, you know, classic. But I was laughing a lot, and the teacher, dude, I feel like a lot of my teachers despised me. Like, it's sad to say, but I feel like looking back on it, I feel like that was the case. So there I am. I'm in second grade, and I remember that, who was it? Well, I don't even remember their names, but, so there's just 2 other people that were making me laugh, and we were working on a card system. Well, I guess the teacher had the system of like cards, where she would, you know, like, you would start at like good with a green card. If you got yelled at, you would go to like needs improvement, and then like if you got yelled at again, it would go to like red, and that's like a phone call home. Okay, every single gosh darn day I was on green. Every single day. Like, sometimes, you know, if I answered a question right, I'd go up, like, the teacher would say like, okay, you know what, that was a good question, go put your card up to like orange, which orange was like, or like bright orange, I think, was like higher than green, and it was like better. It was like armor, you know, like if you had that and then you were like screwing off, it'd go back down to green, you know, like it was basically immunity for one hit. It was, yeah, so it was like armor. And I was laughing hard, and because, you know, of course we were technically off task, the teacher instantly like shot at me, and I was only laughing. Like I felt like I wasn't even contributing to making them laugh, but I was definitely laughing. And I was punished. I was told, get your yellow card down, or get like, whatever. And I felt so bad, like, cause it was the only yellow card I had gotten. And, like a couple months later, she recorded them. She recorded who had, like, who, basically she recorded who had ever gotten below a green. It might have been, like, there might have been one more before the phone call home. I think might have been green, yellow, like light red, and then dark red. I think that's how it might have been. So she was writing, like, she knew who had gotten a yellow one, like, at any point, and I had gotten one. And at that point, she was like, she split the room half and half, told, okay, you have a yellow card, go here. You have a yellow card, go here. You have a red card, go here. You have 2 red cards, 2 yellows, whatever. She basically, I don't even remember how exactly she divided us, or how she got us into that position. But she divided us, and I remember that she was very adamant on the fact that, like, half of us had yellow cards, and every other goody two-shoes who had a green card was sitting on the other side of the room, and she yelled at us, and it felt horrible, because at the same time, I feel like I remember seeing the same 2 kids who made me laugh on the other side, and oh man, like, it felt so bad, and I was like, I kept on, like, in my mind, I was like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. And I still live with that. Like, I remember, like, every once in a while, like, remember that time, like, you got yelled at for seemingly no reason? And I'm like, yeah, I do. What about it? And then I, like, scream. And then I fall asleep. Man, those are like some of the banger stories I have. Do I have any more? I'm trying to... I'm just trying to think of more stories. The black nail, that was pretty recent. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know if I have, like, any major... I mean, I have tons of, like, game stories. Like the time... Oh man. Like the time, like, I was at my sister's, like, quinceañera, and, like, basically anytime I'm at a party, I'm the classic, sitting in the corner, just using the, like, 3DS, basically. Because, like, I don't think, I believe most of my cousins really aren't my age, and just because, social anxiety. I basically just grew up on a screen, eyes glued onto a screen. But I remember at my sister's quinceañera, it was very apparent, because it felt like I was basically only playing. Like, I think ever since then, I had stopped, and, like, I don't even think it was her quinceañera. I think it was just, like, an actual, just genuine birthday party. And I remember I was just, like, playing games and just minding my own beeswax. Like, a lot though, like, overly. Like, I felt like everything around me, I was just absolutely not paying attention to. I don't think there was really any trauma that day, but it was just more like I was so not there, and I was physically there, but mentally I was somewhere else. Like, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, I could talk about the quote unquote good old days of, you know, back when oh man, it was I think 5th grade as well, near the end. During 5th grade, near the end, uh, I had, I think it was, I didn't really have many devices. Devices in the sense that I didn't own a phone, which was, you know, fine. Like, I didn't really mind. My tablet was basically broken, because, you know, the buttons just stopped working on it. Meaning I had a really difficult time trying to turn it on. And then, like, the battery just, like, basically melted, figuratively speaking. I remember that, oh, man, hold up. Basically, at that point in time, there were one thing I owned, and that I basically used, technology-wise. I used every day. My 3DS. My 3DS was basically my gateway to anything. And in the sense that during that time, I didn't have access to YouTube. Comma, on other devices. The glorious thing about the 3DS is that it somehow managed to pull through and actually be able to run a form of YouTube. And I remember even like the dark ages, before the application even existed, like the official app. The dark ages of like having to put it like as an MP3 file, no, as an MP4 file into your 3DS and then playing it. And like I had like the annoying orange episodes on my like 3DS. You remember the Minecraft TNT song? Yeah, I had that. I had that on the 3DS. And the best part was that my dad would let me play it in the car, and we would jam to Minecraft TNT. Okay, like it was a trip. Okay, it was great. It felt phenomenal. I definitely spent a lot of time with my 3DS, but especially during that time, because it was very apparent that I didn't have like anything. I remember, you remember the F? It was, I don't know if it still exists. I hope it does. There was a website, or I guess a meme. It was a rage comic meme. It was the FFFF meme, where it was like the fa meme, right? And there was a website, and the reason why I counted specifically 4 F's and 4 U's was because it was 4 F's and 4 U's. It used the website was 4fs4us.com. And I remember I would use that on the web browser on the 3DS. I remember I would read the Origami Yoda series of books on the 3DS. No, I wouldn't read them, but if there was like a new one coming out, I would find out on the 3DS. I would play, I remember, I cannot play Super Mario 3D Land anymore, like ever, because I basically played it over and over and over again. I think I've completed the game fully like 4 times, and I've spent like 80 hours on the game. Like, it is a lot, and it's definitely noticeable, you know? Or maybe not, but... And what ended up happening, at least to me, was that I ended up basically being the guy that only uses handheld. Like, not handhelds, but, like, well, yeah, handheld. If I were to play, like, or back when, Fortnite came out, like, it was a big thing. Dude, I suck at Fortnite. I could play it today, even after hours of playing it, and I would still suck at it because I didn't have, I guess, as exposure to it, and because I don't play it even then that much. You know, I feel bad too, cause like I have cousins who only play that game, and they don't like have the battle pass. They don't like for any other reason. Like they only play the game. Like anytime I talk to them, they play it. They talk about that. I feel bad because that's like the only thing they do, you know. But whatever. What can you do, right? What was I talking about? I was talking about FPSs and how much I suck at those. But how did I get there? I seriously don't remember. Well, rip, I guess.
Mario.
Oh, you're right. Handhelds, the 3DS. Dude, I was on the 3DS the other day. Like, I remember I had to buy a second 3DS. The first one broke because of redacted. Okay? Because of redacted. My 3DS broke, and I basically ended up having to buy a new one, like maybe a year or two later. I saved up. I had like $150. I wanted to go like 10 miles away from like where I was at the time. Like I was like I was like, I don't know, I think I was visiting my grandparents. And like it was 10 miles away, and I was asking my dad like, hey, can we like drive there to like, you know, like buy the 3DS? It wasn't 10 miles, it was like maybe like 50 miles. It was like a 1 hour drive. And my dad was like, for that much, we can just like, you can just save up more and get like the better one. Like, because the one I was trying to get to was like $50 off. My dad was like, no, we're not gonna drive there. We're like, I'm seriously telling you, we are not driving there. I was like, please, like, yeah, I'm gonna buy the 3DS, it's like cheaper. And he was like, by the time you get there, it's gonna be the same price, like for the gas and stuff. And because we were at my grandparents' house, my grandparents were listening, or at least my grandma was listening. And she was like, I'll help you pay for the extra $50. And I was like, thank you. And I was like, seriously, like, oh my god. I was like on my hands and knees, like, thank you. And so she gave me like $50, and I bought it, right? And the issue was that I was so excited, like I was so excited to finally like use a 3DS after all this time. No charger. No charger. They stopped putting the god dang charger in the box. And so I was basically cock blocked from using the 3DS. Like I was like that, you know how much that sucked? That was seriously like that sucked, alright? And when I finally got the cable, you know, it was definitely like a good time. Like I felt like I enjoyed it. You know, it felt like I definitely missed out on a bit, but it felt like I came back. Unfortunately, I didn't own, or I guess I didn't really own anymore, one of my favorite games, maybe of all time. Again, I know I kind of say that a lot, but New Super Mario Bros. 2, dude, I love that game, and maybe for the wrong reasons. That game was maybe one of the first games I like truly felt like I owned and like completed, you know? Also, that game was also another game I played way too much of, and I mean like way too much of. Oh my god, another marble. And but when I went back to the newer 3DS like a couple weeks ago, not like last month, maybe 2 months ago. I was really sad. Like I'm serious. Like I felt sad because if you go into the eShop now and go to the newest game, it was like 9 months ago. You know how sad that is? Like, okay, they still technically make new games, but like major, even indie game that's like prominent, like 9 months ago. You know how horrible that is? Like that just feels awful. And I feel sad because like I love the 3DS. And the sad truth is that it's gonna happen like with the Wii. Like it's gonna eventually, like the servers are gonna close down and I'm like, I will actually cry like on camera like when that happens. And that's what saddens me. It saddens me to see it gone. Cause I spent like back to the YouTube era of just using YouTube on my 3DS. During that era, I spent a lot, and I like a lot of weekends, a lot of time using. Whoa, what is that? I spent a lot of time just on the eStore alone. No, not playing any games, just looking at all of the games. It's like when you're at like GameStop and you're just looking at the games. You're like intrigued, but you're not really, you don't have the money to buy the games, or you don't really want to buy the game, or whatever it is. You just like there. And that's the experience I had. And it felt so nice, you know? I have the music ingrained in my brain. And I always will have. And it saddens me that like the last couple years of the 3DS were basically gone. Like, I think the last major release maybe was, I think, what was it? That new Super Mario, no, it was Mario Bros. Like remake of Partners in Time, I think. And then there was another one that was like, the other one was, I was just thinking about it. I literally just had it like on the tip of my tongue. But it feels like it's gone. Like it was the Persona one. They made like a weird chibi Persona like bootleg. And like that's not the same, is it? I don't think so. Like it doesn't feel like it. Like it feels like it was just kind of this throwaway game. And that's what saddens me, that it just gave up on such a somewhat low note. I mean, the 3DS was never like the best console, but maybe it deserved more. Granted, it was around for a long, long time. So there is that. And to be honest, I don't know. I don't know if I prefer the Switch. The Switch is just, I guess, better in almost every aspect, other than nostalgia, which is also kind of sad. So, yeah, there's also that. Guys, are you guys even there? Oh, yeah, nice.
I think the 2DS was the worst console from Nintendo.
Okay, are we talking the new 2DS, like XL, or are we talking the original 2DS? Because there's different like levels, okay? There's levels to it. Oh, I feel like I'm having deja vu or something.
I just hate the design for all of them in general.
What? Wait, the 2DS or the 3DS?
2DS.
Okay, I agree. I don't think the new 2DS XL looks that bad. It's basically the penultimate version of the 3DS, which is kind of ironic. Holy, oh my god, these are some bright colors. Oh crap, I need to get air. Oh my god, am I gonna suffocate again? Thinking about the 2DS. I really hate the design of the 2DS. I understand the purpose. It's the budget version. That's the point of the 2DS. It's supposed to be the budget equivalent of the 3DS, which even then was kind of budgeted near the end of its life cycle. But it was further kind of just made into this weird hybrid, and I think Nintendo realized that no game and no game-like user was actually using the 3D function. And I could secondhand this. Like I've had a lot of time spent on the 3DS, and I rarely, if ever, have used the 3D function. And that's like the cold hard truth. Again, it feels kind of weird and it like wasted potential. And the reason why I would say that Nintendo finally just kept the 2DS rather than the 3DS was because of just budget constraints. Because at that point, the last version is basically all of the versions. The new 2DS XL. It was basically the ultimate version, and because of that, it was basically like, hey, if you didn't get a chance to play the 3DS before, there it is. Just in case, you know. Oh, frick, I need air. Oh my god.
The original 2DS not being able to fold was a horrible decision, and the new 2DS just looks like a tacky off-brand version of the 3DS.
The first one I do agree. I don't understand why exactly it was made to not fold. It just seemed ridiculous. Like, seriously, a couple you couldn't... I know you were cutting corners, Nintendo, but you can add a couple bolts, you know? I mean, I guess that adds up, but even then, it just didn't make sense at the time. The newer version, the new 2DS XL, I think makes more sense, but even then, it just feels kind of weird. Not really 3DS at that point, is it? You guys ever use a PS Vita? Cause man, was that console fun. It was in the sense with the 3DS where it wasn't the best out
What's
there.
that?
The PS Vita was basically a buffed PSP. In the sense where a lot of the original classics for the PSP were ported over. A lot of, like, Borderlands. Like, you could play Borderlands 2 in its entirety on the PS Vita. It wasn't the best running, but it was basically the Nintendo Switch without the dock. And it was a really cool concept. The issue was that it was the Nintendo Switch without a dock. Because of that, you were very, very, very much so restricted in the sense that you were not really playing as much on a handheld, but more on an actual console. Oh, whoa, did you see that? Cool jump. Anyways, the issue with that was that the original, they're not original. What was I even talking about? PS Vita, okay. The issue was that PS Vita, as fun and as great as it was missing the crucial aspect of a handheld. Affordability. It was, I think, too expensive base-wise, like the actual console itself. And the games were not your typical $40 experience, but rather a $60 one. And, you know, that might have been fine, but like nowadays, you know, seeing the Nintendo Switch, but the difference is that it wasn't docked. It didn't really, like, I guess it didn't have anything going for it, and the 3DS was basically affordable in every other way. I mean, Nintendo has a monopoly on handheld consoles. PlayStation has thrown their hat in the ring, and it has been successful, but not to the same degree. And they have great IPs as well. One of my childhood memories are filled of one of my cousins playing Patapon and Locoroco, two classic PSP games. And I mean classic because they were so, I guess, classic enough that they were eventually ported to the PS4. But even then, skipping over the PS3, that was like a 10-year difference, you know? It was just strange. As enjoyable as they were, it just felt weird to just kind of have them take so long to finally, I guess, re-release them in a sense. But the PS Vita was kind of this kind of solution where it was not only a new console that could play Minecraft like on the current version at a good pace with little to no slowdown, it could also play the original classic PSP games, which was pretty good, you know? It's kind of like playing the Virtual Console on 3DS where you couldn't, you know, open the home without closing the game. You couldn't really look at the time. Like, online functionality was very limited. Even more so, I guess. So if the game you got had online functionality, basically at any point during its lifetime, don't count on it to, you know, really work as well. Me personally, there was a game I really like on it. It was called Atomic Ninjas. I don't know if it was put on Steam eventually. I really liked it because it was a very fast-paced, quick and like pick up and play kind of deal. It was a simple, not even like indie game. It was just like a, like, you know, they were just a development company just trying something different, I guess. It was supposed to be multiplayer, but you know, who was gonna play it, especially on the PS Vita. So I would constantly play against bots, which, speaking of bots, I'll talk about next. But it was super simple. Like, you would use like abilities to destroy other opponents, and you have to like play as certain characters to unlock other ones, and it felt like a fun party game that I feel like could have been fleshed out, but just kind of ended up being not as fleshed out. It was definitely more fleshed out, or it was less fleshed out than Lethal League, but it was, I guess, more. No, I think Lethal League beats it in like every way. I think that's the perfect, just like indie smash kind of game. We should play that one time. Eventually. What I was talking about bots is that the reason why I play a lot of games, you know, a lot of them over time, and again because I didn't really grow up with consoles as much. Not counting the handhelds. I basically learned how to play basically any, if not all of the games I play that are multiplayer alone, which is kind of sad, even me saying it, but I don't really feel as bad about it because at the same time I experienced what it was like to play with TF2 bots. And TF2 bots are maybe the most polarizing non-player. TF2 bots are the funny bots, okay? They are seriously some of the funniest robots or like you'll ever see. Like the way they act, the way they move, the way they glitch is so interesting, and that's maybe one of the only reasons why I've been coming back to TF2 a lot. Like I can't even play multiplayer without lagging, but the bots are always there, and it's kind of scary in a sense that these bots are weirdly like humanoid, but not. You enter the lobby and you know you can move freely in the like actual like spawn area, but the bots stand still looking around. If you get close they just stare at you, not saying anything, not doing anything, just stare at you. You taunt and they taunt back. You like it's this weird thing that they do, and it's unsettling, but it's so cool. Okay, like it like I don't know how else to describe it. Maybe because their faces are also like as empty as the actual, like, I guess in a way like program, but it's just this weird mentality to it. Oh no. Did I lose it? Did I lose the marble? I literally pressed square. Where did it go? And the marbles don't really do anything, but... Is it in a tray? Oh my god. What? Wow. I guess if it's too out of bounds, it just kind of glitches. I'm gonna leave that there then. Okay, see a marble. Sky marble, dude. Anyways, so yeah,
What do you do in this game, by the way?
Explore. You just jumping planets to planets, getting materials, basically surviving, but not really much of the hassle to it. It's just a chill game. That's how I'm just running around half the time. Although it is really fun. Like there are times, like look at this. This is the Swag 2.0. All right. Let me. Where is it? Swag 2.0. I swear I had it. Okay, hold up. Let me get the... There it is. So here we have the Swag 2.0, you know, and you know, it's a tractor, and we can, well, at least I can put stuff in the back. I can fall into holes on accident. Oh Christ, how am I gonna get out of this one? Look, the reason why I like this game so much, and I've only played it for like 2 days, is because it really is just you sit down and you play it to take your mind off of things. You play the game. I think a lot of people do this already, but for me, Astroneer has been filling that void. You know, I'm just sitting down, I'm either talking to my friends, I'm talking to no one, I'm playing by myself, I'm playing alone, I'm playing silently, I'm playing with other people, I'm playing, whatever, you know, and I'm just chilling. Straight up vibing. I need a compound. You guys know where compound is?
Aren't you tired?
I am very tired, yes. I'm also very, I don't know, resilient? I don't know. I'm very, very tired, but I also still want to play the game now. Gamers got a game, bro. I get mutant Hispine. See, these things will kill me. Mutant Hispine. Whoa, they move. Like I said, the main reason why I don't really sleep, I guess, as early anymore, is because, you know, I want something to do. You know? Just relax. Just make some chemistry labs, which I can't even make. I need tungsten, dude, and glass. Do you know how to get glass? Actually, I think I know. Need some sand. Where the... Make some compound. Where did I leave it? Okay, let's ride. Let's go this way. Wait. Okay. Intriguing. Oh, whoa, 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 what is that? Oh. Research is in place. Oh, no.
I am going to go watch part 4, so good night, Dante.
Alright, see ya. Good night. I'll be gaming. I'll probably fall asleep in like 10 minutes. Oh, whoa, 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 compound. Well, guess it's just me and me. Oh, together forever. Alright, well, now that all those annoying people have gotten out of the party. Okay, but time to, I don't know, probably gonna... There. 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 The ones. It's like that candy, that chocolates that look like that. I just realized where they're at. Quartz, I haven't seen quartz. I don't know what even is quartz. Man. Sweat. Sweat. Ow, my back. Seats. Storage. I need more meat. I'm not got enough resin though. Make some tether bones. I didn't realize it was this big. Okay, that just looks good. Shut up. because of the wind. That's why. There's the sun. Maybe the sun actually. Comes the sun. That's all. Here's the one. Ho ho, what a box. Whoa. Can I place it over there? There we go. Whoops. I can't jump, so like I don't. Okay, place it there. Cranch. Can I place it on here? There we go. I realized it was so big. Oh. Don't I just need one thruster, right? Hope so. Solid fuel thruster. I tree. Solid fuel. I don't know if I'll launch yet. People have to be here to see it happen, you know? It's the medium one, right? Small one. Oh. Solid fuel test. Limited fuel capacity. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna leave that for tomorrow though. It did say it's good for only run 100. Probably have to make either another one or a better medium shuttle. Probably gives me storage and multiple people. Just gonna have to take some stuff with me. Man, I don't know what to tell you. Pretty interesting though. I don't know. I wanna keep on playing, but I'm pretty damn tired. Might watch King of the Hill or something. So yeah. Next time though, I'll probably change my astronaut gear. So there's that at least. Alright. Well, see you guys. Thank you for joining me. And I'll probably play tomorrow as well. Not earlier. Definitely the same time. Or later. Maybe I might not even play at all tomorrow. But it damn sure is my goal too. And if you are listening to this, thank you. I truly appreciate it. So, yeah, I don't really know how to end my stream, so goodbye.